2017 was a respectable year for gaming. The industry was taking a breather after more of a decade of excellent title releases. Here are just a few you may recognize. And out of those few, only one brought new life to its subgenre, raised the bar for the industry, and did so with a small team of 3 people. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, let's lay the foundation and discuss the principle of over-delivering.
This writer does not believe it possible for anyone to rise above mediocrity without developing this habit of performing more service and better service than is actually paid for, in dollars and cents. The person who makes it a habit to do this is usually regarded as a leader, and without exception, as far as we have any knowledge on the subject, all such people have risen to the top in their profession or business, regardless of other handicaps which may have stood in the way.
A quote from The Magic Ladder to Success by Napoleon Hill. This quote can be broken down into 4 main parts. What over-delivery is, how it is accomplished, what happens if you abstain from it, and what happens if you practice it. Over-delivering is as simple as adding more value than requested. Think of free DLC from your favorite game, or hotfixes that come out as soon as a bug is brought to the forefront. Adding more value is achievable through the study of the competition. What everyone else is doing over time establishes a precedent for how things should be going forward. When everyone else zigs, you zag. The lack of strategic planning for zagging will unfortunately land you amongst the rest of the mediocre players, or even worse, below them. Over-delivery will not only garner you the praise of those being served, but will mark the business as a leader in its field of expertise. To paraphrase, do more of what's expected, otherwise face the consequences of mediocrity. Enough implementation of this practice will cultivate a leader in said space. So, who exactly is this mystery team, and what game did they create that practiced the notion of over-delivering?
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I'm William.
And I'm Ari.
We're here at Team Cherry headquarters. By now, you would have seen the Song reveal trailer.
That's right.
We've been sitting on it for a while. We're super excited to finally have everyone, to get it out there so everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And we thought we'd also just do a really quick, really casual video and kind of go into a little more detail about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Team Cherry, a small indie studio, created the game Hollow Knight, which of today has sold over 3 million copies and still has an active and healthy community of 3,200 concurrent players daily 6 years after its initial release. Cases like this are rare for indie games, but let me explain why I believe Hollow Knight dominated its subgenre and will continue to year after year after year. Let's talk perception first. Indie games have a huge advantage when it comes to game releases that larger studios don't, and that is the soft pedal, the idea to underpromise and over-deliver. This means the perception of anything that is put out by an indie developer is automatically viewed as average or below average before people even touch it. That's because a vast majority of indie games are created by inexperienced people. This in turn means whenever an indie studio hits a home run with their release, it automatically exceeds the expectations of the masses. A soft pedal coupled with a subgenre that was not very popular in 2017 was like a 2-piece combo for the average gamer. But Hollow Knight did not initially rely on the support of the average gamer. As a matter of fact, here are just a few games that launched around the same time Hollow Knight did that an average gamer would be playing, and that isn't including previous release titles. However, as a result of Hollow Knight's soft pedal and its subgenre, word got around of how amazing the game was and eventually spread to a broader audience. Now let's talk about Metroidvanias. The subgenre originates from the 2 popular game series Metroid and Castlevania, and is characterized by gameplay mechanics such as non-linear exploration and discovery, an upgrade system, backtracking, and of course boss battles. Generally, this subgenre was more relevant to the 2-dimensional games, being at the time it was what the hardware and developers could handle. Flash forward to 2013, we have the Xbox One, PS4, and the Wii U. Due to more technological advancements and new innovative ideas, the genre began to fade out of popularity, but still withheld a small fan base over the years. Some popular Metroidvanias that dropped before Hollow Knight include Ori and the Blind Forest, Cavestory, Owlboy, Guacamelee, and Dust and Elysian Tale. All these games, however, were just appetizers for the Metroidvania base. They wanted something new and fresh. When Hollow Knight dropped, it reignited the flame of the subgenre, satiated all the hardcore gamers, and spawned more games like it in the niche. Be it as it may, those games after and before Hollow Knight may not scratch the same itch you experience with the game. Here's why that is. Metroidvanias, even so to this day, lack a sense of impactful storytelling and world building, something Team Cherry took advantage of and over-delivered on. Hollow Knight feels like a real world through the environments you traverse to the characters you interact with. Each area and NPC are unique and hold within them the information to learn about the world of Hollow Nest. Speaking of Hollow Nest, everything you see is traditionally 2D hand drawing. The amount of effort it takes to create frame-by-frame animations, background and foreground environments, and character models is no easy feat. There's a reason games that are hand-drawn tend to get more praise as opposed to games that aren't. Another aspect Team Cherry heavily focused on was the exploration, and this dives into both how Hollow Knight over-delivered as a subgenre and as a game. We all know about the Hollow Knight exploration. It's exciting, stumbling upon new areas, not knowing where to go and what to expect. But the key factor of its exploration isn't just that alone, but the secrets it holds within it. Since the player is already immersed within the world of Hollow Nest, their experience is amplified by whatever they come across in the world that breaks patterns. This method is not for the casual gamers, however. This design caters to the player who truly enjoys the game and is willing to spend more time and even replay the game after the first run-through. In business, those who invest a lot of money more than the average person are referred to as whales. In this sense, the hardcore gamers are like whales, and if treated right, they will become superfans of the business they support. Studios debate whether or not extra content that is overtly seen is worth creating. If a player never stumbles upon an extra dialogue option, or they miss a secret boss fight that only a small percentage of players have encountered, then it is ruled as a waste of resources. So ultimately, it gets cut from development. Team Cherry obviously took the opposite approach. Just another example of Team Cherry zagging when everyone else is zigging. Usually games with deep lore are only enhanced by the extra content that players are willing to invest time into unveiling. Who doesn't like a good mystery to explore? Lastly, Hollow Knight was able to capitalize on the help of others outside of just the team of 3. Team Cherry could have easily taken the money from the Kickstarter, kept the team small, and worked on a lighter version of the game. However, since they chose to expand the scope, it displayed where their studio's heart really lied. It all starts from the base, the convictions of the studio.